The RBA boss, Michelle Bullock, says household finances are holding up, despite criticism over the bank's decision to increase interest rates 13 times. Speaking at a financial leaders summit in Hong Kong, Ms Bullock says there's been a lot of noise over rate hikes from both sides of politics as well as the general public, and she warned that the central bank's inflation target was looking uncertain over the next 2 years.
Interest rate rises flow through very quickly, and it flows through quickly to those who have mortgages, and that's around about 45% of the population do have a mortgage in some sense, either over their own home or in an investment property. And that's created a lot of noise. People are very unhappy. The cash flow channel works very quickly in Australia, and it's very prominent.
The former RBA boss, Philip Lowe, was also there. He says the central bank could face the backlash, even more so, if the inflation targets are not met.
If central banks allow that timeline to be pushed out even further into 26, I think the community will rightly say, are they serious? And that'll be a problem if they do. So I think the central banks have to be able to convince people that inflation will return to target fairly soon. If they don't, then the next time inflation is going to be moved away from target, and there'll be plenty of examples of it, that people won't believe that it'll come back, and that'll make the lives much harder.
Well, let's go back to Canberra now for some reaction. Let's bring in the Assistant Treasurer, Stephen Jones. Stephen, good morning to you. There's something about that language that jars, but I suppose the truth hurts. Is Michelle Bullock right?
Look, I'll let the Reserve Bank Governor explain her own words. I think that households are doing it tough, and they think more in terms of budgets than balance sheets. And I know that many households, if you've got a mortgage, if you're a renter, you're doing it tough, and you're seeing the bills go up, and you're making hard decisions about what you can afford and what you can't afford. And for that reason, government's got two things we're doing. We're keeping the fiscals under control. In plain language, that means balancing the budget and not going on a spending spree. It means ensuring that we can provide cost of living relief through childcare, through rent assistance, and through all the other measures, the 10-point plan that the Treasurer and I have been talking about for some time now. That's the responsible way to deal with this. Yep, getting inflation down matters. It matters a lot, but ensuring that we can help households through a difficult period, Australians through a difficult period, matters a lot as well.
It's just that line there, Stephen, that households are actually in a pretty good position. Are they? I'm not sure they are, for the most part.
Look, I think the government understands that people are doing it tough. If you've got a mortgage, if you're a renter and you're seeing your bills go up, you're doing it tough.
Yeah.
And the government is doing its bit to provide some relief, but I know that people are doing it tough. I get out around my own electorate, I talk to my colleagues, I can see it on a daily basis. People are doing it tough, and these interest rate rises, if you're on a mortgage or if you're renting a property from somebody who's got a mortgage, it's flowing through and it's hurting.
Given what Michelle Bullock said last week about inflation now being homegrown, which contradicts the government claim that a lot of it comes from overseas, you're not exactly in lockstep with the RBA at the moment, are you?
No, I deny that. The Reserve Bank, the Independent Reserve Bank has got its job to do, and we've got our job to do. Our job is managing fiscal policy, which is about balancing the budget, and we've delivered the first balanced budget with a surplus indeed in over a decade, and that fiscal discipline will continue. That's our bit. The Reserve Bank does its bit around monetary policy, and we've both got a job to do to explain what we're doing.
Right.
Our job is managing the budget and in providing cost of living relief where we can.
Well, on fiscal policy,
the Reserve Bank to explain its strategy.
Sure. Just on disquiet has returned over stage 3 tax cuts. Are you still committed to them, Stephen?
Look, we've had no change in our position on that, Pete.
Are any trims being considered?
Right now, no change in our position, Pete. No change in our position.
Okay. No trims being considered before the end of the next financial year?
We're always looking at a way to find savings in the budget, but we're not looking, there's been no consideration of the stage 3 tax cuts, no discussion of it. But yes, are we looking for areas to find savings to ensure that we can continue to balance the budget and bring in a surplus? Of course we are. We're doing that all the time. Any responsible government would be doing that. We've delivered the first surplus budget in over a decade, and we want to maintain that momentum to ensure that we're managing the economy through the budget and we're taking pressure off households where we can.
Okay, this all ahead of my EFO. Stephen Jones, appreciate your time. Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.